Today on NewsWatch, Donald Trump's private meeting with hundreds of Christian leaders. CBN News take you behind closed doors to show you what happened. And
my life is so terrible right now. Now I'm here and my wife is dead.
They fled persecution only to end up in another horrible place. So why isn't anyone helping these Christian refugees? Plus, one-on-one with American Idol alum Jeremy Rosado. Find out what caused him to throw in the towel and what changed his mind. And thank you so much for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. Donald Trump is working hard to win over Christian voters. Meeting with hundreds of evangelical leaders Tuesday, he's going to need that crucial voting bloc to have a real shot at winning the presidency. CBN's David Brody was inside the private meeting and has the story now from New York.
Times Square always hustles and bustles, but just blocks away, the Marriott Marquis Hotel buzzed with activity of another kind, a private meeting between Donald Trump and evangelical leaders. It was a private event, but CBN News was permitted inside to observe. From megachurch pastors to longtime stalwarts, they heard Trump speak out about defending religious liberty, including his desire to get rid of IRS restrictions that muzzle political talk from the pulpit. Trump said a repeal may be, quote, my biggest contribution to Christianity. In that room, among the 900 evangelical leaders or so, there were quite a few that were not for Trump going into the meeting. After the meeting, well, some minds are changing.
The ball has moved forward a little bit, and I appreciate Mr. Trump's willingness to reach out to the evangelical community. After hearing him today, I will prayerfully consider it as a possibility in light of the alternative.
That alternative is Hillary Clinton. Trump made clear his Supreme Court picks would make them proud, unlike what Clinton might bring to the table. Trump also talked about how evangelicals need to band together because their rights and values are under attack. What pleased some attendees was that Trump didn't appear to make any major mistakes or give reason for pause.
I can't remember any time during the several hours this morning that his answer disappointed or there was chagrin about it.
Trump's senior advisor Sarah Huckabee also attended and spoke with CBN News.
He did something that most Republican nominees in the past have refused to do, and that's walk into this room and be willing to sit down, take their questions, and really interact with them in a very big way.
With some evangelicals still wary, the brash outsider will need more outreach. But for now, it seems to be working.
As it pertains to the evangelical vote and the candidacy of Donald J. Trump, today's meeting may very well be a tipping point.
Pro-family leader Sammy Rodriguez says he knows plenty of pastors who were skeptical before the meeting, but inside something changed.
After hearing his commitment, his very well-defined, articulated commitment to religious liberty and life, the Supreme Court especially, I think you saw a number of the same pastors walk out going, that's what I needed to hear.
And that's something the Trump campaign needed to hear after a rough few weeks of headlines. It will be important for them to build on any progress here by getting evangelicals to move beyond words and work actively for Trump among their flocks. David Brody, CBN News in New York City.
The race for the White House heats up more every day. Hillary Clinton blasting Donald Trump's economic policies in a hard-hitting speech Tuesday. Clinton took aim at the presumptive GOP nominee while visiting the crucial swing state of Ohio. But as Charlene Aaron reports, Clinton faces problems of her own, and Trump is ramping up for a new attack against her.
Clinton called Donald Trump's economic policies dangerous and warned that he could bankrupt the country if elected president. In her speech in Columbus, Ohio, Clinton questioned Trump's temperament to guide the economy and repeatedly pointed to his business record, including bankruptcies, as evidence of how he would treat small businesses and working families.
Just like he shouldn't have his finger on the button, he shouldn't have his hands on our economy. He's written a lot of books about business. They all seem to end at chapter 11.
Trump shot back, saying he knows how to use debt in business.
So what I've done is I've used brilliantly the laws of the country. and not personally, just corporate. And if you look at people like myself that are at the highest levels of business, many of them have done it many, many times.
And in a tweet, he said, "Crooked Hillary refuses to say that she will be raising taxes beyond belief. She will be a disaster for jobs and the economy." But the presumptive Democratic nominee has problems of her own. Russian hackers are believed to have breached the computers of the Clinton Foundation. A hacker using the moniker Guccifer 2.0 leaked documents taken from the Democratic National Convention during a hack last week. Bloomberg News reports the attacks on the foundation's network, as well as those of the Democratic Party and Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign, compound concerns about her digital security, even as the FBI continues to investigate her use of a personal email server while she was Secretary of State. And Trump is promising even more of a full assault on Clinton in a speech today. Charlene Aaron, CBN News.
House Republicans are unveiling a new proposal to repeal and replace Obamacare. It's part of a new initiative by House Speaker Paul Ryan. The Better Way agenda lays out how the GOP would govern with a Republican in the White House. Under the new proposal, individual tax credits would allow people to buy coverage from private insurers. There would be medical liability reform and expanded access to health savings accounts. Republicans say the 37-page plan is an overall roadmap and details will be ironed out later. The Illinois legislature has approved a bill that would give Muslim Americans a formal voice in the state government. If the governor signs the bill, Illinois would be the first state in the U.S. to pass such a law. The measure creates a 21-member advisory council of Muslims to give them influence on state policy. The governor and legislative leaders would get to appoint the Muslim council members. The Chicago Tribune reports one Islamic leader who's pushing for the council says all governors in America are obligated to have an Islamic council. An 18-year-old from Indianapolis has been arrested accused of trying to join ISIS. Authorities raided the home of Akram Musli on Tuesday. They believe he planned to go to Morocco and enter ISIS territory. The teen appeared in federal court Tuesday and is facing charges for providing material to support the terror group. North Korea has reportedly launched 2 more ballistic missiles. U.S. and South Korean military officials say one of the missiles failed, but the other launch was a big step in the regime's development of a powerful missile intended to reach U.S. bases in the Pacific. It reportedly flew about 620 miles. This comes as diplomats from America and North Korea are attending a 6-nation security forum in Beijing. U.S. officials say at this point there are no plans for talks. Coming up, Christians who fled persecution in Pakistan and then found out that their new home was even worse. Two Pakistani Christians have been sentenced to jail for 6 years on blasphemy charges. Premier reports they were detained after a pastor published a poster referring to Muhammad. A spokesman from a charity that provides free legal aid in these situations says Christians are living under constant threat because of growing misuse of blasphemy laws and are continuously demanding changes or at least the introduction of safeguards to this law. Last month, 3 other Christians were also charged with blasphemy. Pakistan is one of the most dangerous countries in the world for Christians. The persecution there is so severe, record numbers of people have been fleeing the country. One place they're going, Thailand. But as George Thomas discovered in Bangkok, life for them there is anything but easy.
With his voice quivering and tears filling his eyes, Mustaq Faisal said he had no choice but to leave Pakistan.
My life is full of challenges.
Muslim neighbors accused the young Christian of tearing pages from the Quran, so they wanted his family killed.
I was so scared. I told them I would never do anything like that to their holy book, but they didn't believe me.
Fearing for their lives, Faisal took his wife Samina, son Joshua, and fled to Thailand with hopes of starting a new life free from Islamic death threats.
The moment we arrived in Thailand, I submitted our asylum application with the UN.
But 6 months after arriving in country, Faisal still had not heard back from the UN's agency responsible for protecting refugees. And with the family's 3-month tourist visa expired, the Thai government sent immigration police after them.
I was not at home when the Thai police came to our apartment. My wife told them she was a heart patient and that they should not arrest her, but they didn't listen.
Under Thai law, any refugee who overstays their tourist visa is illegally in country. The arrested, like Samina, are taken in caged vans to an immigration detention center, or IDC.
She was okay for the first 3 days, but then she got very ill on December 20th.
Faisal pleaded with the UN to help his sick wife.
I kept asking, I kept crying, but they did not listen to me.
He begged detention guards to give her heart medications.
I told him that if you don't do anything, she will die.
The name Jesus Christ.
Wilson Chowdhury, a Christian human rights advocate, tried to intervene but wasn't too hopeful based on past experience.
What we found is that the wardens meant to be protecting these detainees, deny them access to healthcare and medicines.
His group and others obtained images showing inhumane conditions inside the IDC facility, including of men chained like dogs.
The stench as you walk in is overpowering. The toilets, there are 2 toilets to serve over 200 people.
And in some cases, 200 people crammed in rooms that barely fit 100.
So they're sleeping one on top of each other, or they'll be sleeping crouching or standing up.
On December 30th, 2015, the UN finally responded to Faisal, but with news that his wife Samina had died.
My life is so terrible right now. We face so many difficulties in Pakistan, and that's why we escaped to Thailand. Now I'm here, and my wife is dead. What am I supposed to do? My son keeps asking, where is mommy? But I don't have the courage to tell him the truth.
6 other Pakistani Christian refugees have died in Thai detention centers. More than 100,000 Pakistanis have fled their homeland because of rising Islamic violence. Reports say nearly 11,000 are in Thailand, many of them Christians. The problem is the government here doesn't want any refugees from anywhere. And since Thailand is not a signatory to a UN agreement on asylum seekers, folks like George Naz face a precarious future.
We were treated as second-class citizens in Pakistan. Now we come here and we face similar conditions.
Naz is a wanted man in Pakistan. In 2013, he was accused of blasphemy by an Islamic court, but escaped to Thailand. For now, he hides and waits. An illegal with no right to work, no access to schools or hospitals.
I'm scared to go outside my building because the immigration police or army can arrest me at any moment.
CBN News visited a housing complex in Bangkok where scores of Pakistani Christian families are crammed into small apartments, many living illegally.
For example, we live in one room with 4 other families. Our kids cannot go to school because they are also considered illegal. So the whole day we just sit at home.
For a few hours on Sunday morning, a handful of Pakistani Christian families brave arrest to attend the secret church service. Stranded in Thailand for years, many here hope and pray for designated UN refugee status and eventually the chance to settle in a third country. In the meantime, a few Christian NGOs are helping them and others with food and living expenses. But the needs are overwhelming. For now, though, Faisal clings to the one thing he knows will bring comfort. He reads verses from Psalm 121, reminding his son Joshua that it is God who will take care of all their needs.
I trust in God. Only God can help us in our time of difficulties.
George Thomas, CBN News, Bangkok, Thailand.
And next, he wanted to top the pop music chart, see how God humbled him and changed this music artist's career forever. Jeremy Rosado rose above thousands of contestants to land one of the top spots in season 11 of the hit series American Idol. The young Florida native is rounding out a busy year traveling the country, performing songs from his Heartbeat project. I recently caught up with him, with the Music Man, for an interview on my entertainment show called Studio 5. Jeremy Rosado makes a joyful noise on this Virginia Beach stage. It's been quite the journey, from front desk medical clerk to American Idol star, and now bona fide recording artist with an album under his belt. So when you told your family that you were going to sing and go on American Idol, and I think you told them that long before you
I was 10.
You were 10.
Yeah.
And when you actually went on, how old were you?
Yeah, I was 10 years old when I saw Kelly Clarkson win American Idol. Never heard of the show before. I was literally flipping through channels. One night, it was probably like 7, 8 o'clock at night, and I heard Ryan Seacrest saying, the winner of American Idol 2002 is, and then he said Kelly Clarkson. I saw her win, and I was like, oh my God, like I connected with this like instantly. And I said, I literally ran out of my room 10 years old. I said, Ma, come here, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be on the show. You see the name on the bottom? You're gonna vote for me like it says that. So I started watching the show with my parents. Like, I mean, we watched it every single time it was on. I auditioned when I turned 16, auditioned when I turned 17 twice, auditioned when I turned 18, auditioned when I turned 19. So this was my 5th audition. So I did 5 auditions for Idol. For the first time in the history of my auditioning, they said yes.
Some people are just blessed with a voice from God that when they open their mouth, they affect people. That's you.
What was that?
Crazy.
I don't know.
What was that?
America, meet Jeremy. Jeremy, meet America.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I was so impressed with the tender moments and the big booming vocals. I mean, dude, I love you, man.
After all of this, who is your wild card pick?
I gotta show them everything that I have in this one moment, and I just want everybody at home to be able to feel everything that I sing.
I believe in this kid. I believe in Jeremy. I think he has one of the most beautiful voices I've heard in a long time.
Who is it going to be?
Jeremy Rosado.
I can't even describe to you how ready I am.
What's life been like after American Idol for you? It's been a few years.
It has been, it's been a crazy 3.5, 3 3/4 years. It is, you know, American Idol, it really changed up everything for me, opened up doors that I would have probably never had before. But it wasn't easy getting signed. I mean, I came off one of the biggest TV shows probably in the world. But it was definitely having to work tremendously hard to make it happen.
Your album has been out almost a year.
Yeah, August. Yeah, crazy, right? Man.
How do you feel about it?
I am so blessed with the record. It's called Heartbeat. It was a labor of love. It was, I don't want to say blood, sweat, and tears because there was no blood, thank God. But,
there were sweat and tears.
There was sweat and tears. There was a lot of sweat and tears.
How does your life's reality compare to what you dreamed about, what you were hoping for?
Man, you know, I wanted to be the Spanish Justin Bieber. God quickly humbled me. You know, coming off the show, if I'm honest, I remember doing an event with Pastor Donnie McClurkin in New York City, and I was just, he was interviewing me for something, and we were speaking, and I remember my heart was just not, it wasn't this right here. I wanted to chase this mainstream world. This was immediately after Idol, and it was right there. I really believe the Lord gave me a word.
The word to Jeremy came from pastor and fellow recording artist Donnie McClurkin.
Man, this has been such a blessing. I want to thank you, Pastor, for allowing me to be here. I want to thank God for allowing me to be here.
Do you remember what he said?
It was something along the lines of, you know that I've called you from when you were a little boy. Why are you running away from what you know you're called to do? Just right there.
Wow.
I knew that it was the Lord, dude, and speaking. And yeah, from that day on, it changed everything. That was 2.5 years ago now.
The time has come for your Wednesday word, and the word to consider today is presence. Think on this one. Wherever you are, be there. Your presence is a gift to those around you, and gifts can't buy love or replace presence. Ponder that one and make some time to truly share your life with others. With that word, make this a wonderful Wednesday. That about does it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. You can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com. Hope you'll join us again right here next time. Make this a wonderful Wednesday. See you tomorrow.